Paranormal Activity 3 takes you back to where it all began. And the activity is more intense than ever. The cameras are on and recording the chilling moments when evil begins to terrorize young sisters Katie and Christy for the first time. Brace yourself for the horror phenomenon that delivers heart-exploding scares so frightening that the last 15 minutes will mess you up for life.
Were you messed up for life?
When did this come out? Yeah, that year did kind of mess me up for life, but it had nothing to do with this movie. I guarantee you, this movie was not a big part of where things went horribly wrong in Tony's life. I love this one. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this one?
I like it. I had technical problems with it.
Okay.
Like, this was 18 years ago.
Oh, no. I agree with everything you're about to say, but keep going, keep going, keep going.
18 years ago. Now, this is 18 years ago, so we're thinking sometime, it's sometime early 90s. They don't say exactly, but it's...
They do in a later...
do they?
It's definitely early... They say the house burned down in 92 in a later one. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's late 80s, early 90s.
Okay, late 80s, early 90s. We have widescreen, like, video cameras. HD, night vision.
I think they add a little bit of the video noise to it, but then they tone it down. Like, once you ease into it, they get rid of that.
Yeah, like, all right, let's not go. Well, the thing is, it wouldn't be video noise. Yeah. It would be, like, because that's like they did like digital noise.
Yeah,
it would be VHS like stretching.
It's totally ridiculous. Yeah. That's where you need a line where he's just like, "That's my experimental HD camera, and I sure hope I don't die by a coven of witches, because it'll be 20 years until someone else comes up with this." You need some stupid thing like that.
Right. Well, the thing, and this is something that goes into the future ones where they find all this footage and it's all VHS tapes. And it's like, I could almost understand if they, they're like, oh, my uncle worked at such and such and they had this crazy new technology they were using. And it's all like digital tapes and all that. No, it was all VHS tapes.
I like last year I was like converting digital tapes, like old family tapes. And even when you digitally convert them, they still look like shit.
Yeah. Because it's still, you can only blow them up so much.
The real VHS look looks so much creepier. That's why I like the VHS trilogy. The ones that actually feel like VHS are a little bit more effective than the ones that are just super HD.
Right.
Did I say trilogy? I forgot there's like 6 of those movies now.
Is there 6? I know. I thought there was 4.
There's 3.
Oh, wait, no, that's right. Then there's
3, 94,
VHS,
99, and 84. So yeah, 6.
Okay.
6. That last one was pretty fun.
I really need to. I didn't see Viral. I saw I think what 92 or 94 was
94.
The one.
Yeah.
94 the one after that.
There's 94, 99, and then 84. I think.
So yeah, I need to watch those.
Yeah,
I really enjoy. They're fun. I think 2 is still the best.
Yes. 2 is probably the strongest. Although that newest one I did really enjoy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta track them down.
You're right. The technology makes no fucking sense.
It makes absolutely
no sense. But I mean, at that point, I'm like, this is a big franchise now. They're not putting a 4:3. Although now there's a lot of movies that are coming out in the 4:3 aspect ratio. I just saw Saltburn.
Mm-hmm.
A few years back, we had The Lighthouse. Zack Snyder, for some reason, thought his Justice League should be 4:3.
Well, he shot it open matte, and it shows more on the top and bottom. I thought it looked great,
which is fine for IMAX, I guess. But
that was the thing; it was supposed to be. They were doing it for IMAX, and he was like, "Well, rather than chop it for home video, I'm just going to give it to you the way that it was supposed to be."
But it's become a new thing. People are more open to that. I understand why. Because everyone has widescreen TVs now, so I understand why they would get away from that. But no, this one, by the way, this one had a really good viral marketing campaign. The story is, Katie's mom has just remarried, or she's with a new man who has his own video company. These 2 girls can just never get away from video cameras, and yet they always seem confused by video cameras. He has his own video company, and at the time this came out, there was a website for his company, and it looked like it was from the 90s.
Oh, nice.
And they actually had, his commercial. He's like, I videotape weddings. It was actually a lot of fun. And there was cool things on the website where, you kind of see, there were like pictures of like Christy, but then like her reflection was different. But it didn't look like a scary website. Cool viral marketing. I think it's their first year in this house, I believe. Which called Christy and Katie's mom, their grandmother, is constantly on their mom, just being like, "So when are you gonna have another kid? I really like you have a son. I really like you having a son." Because now we know from the previous film,
Right.
Speaking of retcon, yeah, the movie opens up with the home invasion from the second one, and they're like, "What did they take?" And they're like, "Oh, just my grandmother's old tapes."
But I thought they didn't take anything.
I thought they didn't take anything, and also, this coven of witches just let you have those tapes with those horrible murders on them. I feel like that's a little irresponsible. And then paranormal activity starts happening, and the stepdad's like, "I'm gonna start videotaping it with all of my cameras." So the gimmick for this one is that it's VHS cameras, but the new gimmick is the oscillating camera. So he takes an oscillating fan, which looked exactly like the one my family had in the 90s. That made me like very nostalgic. Like, I had that fan. And he takes the fan off and he puts the camera on so it's going side by side. And you get some good moments out of that. We get to see the picture of Katie going to school and then taking the picture of it. I'm like, okay, as prequels go, that's fine. But I was expecting this movie to go in one direction based off all what we knew about the lore. And because the trailer showed us many different things, and the movie went in a whole other direction toward the end. How do you feel about them going more into the witch stuff and now the grandmother is?
I don't know. Like it felt like they were overthinking things. Like I enjoyed it, but at the same time, it's like, all right, like because we're at the point now where it's 3.
Yeah.
We didn't know how many more there were going to be. Yeah. And so it was like, are they really setting this up where it's going to go completely in this direction? Because you're going to have, like they're going to show like a coven of witches and they're going to happen to have a video camera with them to film it. Yeah. You know, like how much are they willing to go into this whole angle? So I
can't wait to talk about the one that had witches. That could have been a whole movie. But anyway, yeah, but I mean, for me, the scares are some of the best in this. There's a few annoying jump scares, like when the mom came out of the closet with the monster thing.
Right.
But I love like early on with the earthquake, and then like the dust falls on the invisible thing. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
It was a nice use of effects.
That was really nice. I think my favorite scare, we might have the same, although there's 2 really big ones. My favorite scare is the sheet. The ghost sheet. Yes.
That was it was a jump, but it did get me to jump.
But there was no loud sound.
But there was no loud. That's right. There was no. You know, so it just happened.
So there's a great scene with the babysitter. I think that babysitter, I saw her in something recently. I forget what she ended up being in. The babysitter's hanging out, and you think it's Christy underneath the sheet sneaking up on her. But before she turns around, the sheet just like falls into the floor. And I remember like everyone in the theater going, because we thought she was just possessed. No one thought it was a ghost.
Right. Just the oxygen just sucks out of the room.
Yeah. And then again with the oscillating one, the next one is when the mom comes back in the kitchen and nothing is there. Which, by the way, I remember like in the theater, my girlfriend at the time, not Katie, a different one.
Right.
I'm sitting there. I didn't get it right away. I'm like, no, what you looking at? And my girlfriend was like, are you serious? And then everything falls from the top. Like, oh, I didn't realize everything disappeared. Oh my God. As disappointing as the second one was, this one won me back. I'm like, okay, they're definitely changing the lore. I don't know if it's for the better. Spoiler, doesn't turn out for the better. But I'm like, okay, so it ends on this thing where like the Toby, we now have a name for it. Toby. You know,
it's it's the most not scary. Like if you're gonna have a demon, you would think, I don't know, Mephistopheles. You know,
well, demons don't like, and they say this in a later film, but like a demon lore, a lot, at least in exorcism movies or whatever, they don't want you to know the real name because then you have power over.
Oh,
them.
well, that is true.
So
but I don't know, like Toby is like. I see what they were going for because they really were like, oh, we're gonna have, Toby is gonna be the big scary name, and
Toby's the name that you give someone you don't like who does YouTube reviews when you're posting on Reddit. So yeah, Toby wants to marry Christy, That's like the whole thing, and they're preparing her. So I guess we're supposed to assume that she's been married to the demon the whole time.
Well, he wants to settle down and start a family.
He really does.
You know?
He really does. I'm just thinking of more scares in this. Oh god, the fucking her like ponytail gets pulled up, I think, at one point. That one's good. Oh, there's a scene they cut out, the Bloody Mary scene, not the one that's in the film.
Right.
The one the girls are playing it themselves.
Right.
And in the trailer, when they do that, adult Katie's like standing behind them.
Right. They walk out the door and she. Yeah.
Yes. That was cool. And I was waiting to see that in the film. There was another scene that was in the trailer where she's like, Toby's over there. Toby's over there. And they're like, where is he? Where is he? And then she like throws the water and it's like a shape. Mm-hmm. That was cool. They showed the house burning. Although I think the house burning is like in one frame at the end of this. My biggest complaint with this film. Mm-hmm. They show Teddy Ruxpin so many times and we never get an evil Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah. Was it like it would have been it would have been perfect. You know what? I would have settled for like a post-credit evil Teddy Ruxpin.
And I'm not saying CGI scary face. I would have just liked if at one point the head turned or something.
Or it just starts talking and then like the tape gets jarbled and it's like, I'm Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah, something like that
would be great.
They did do the nightlight though. Mm-hmm. So the demon has a logo. It's the triangle with the circle. And I guess at some point the demon like played with the light bright. And then when he's haunting the girls in the room, he turns the light bright on. Like, wow, he's all about branding suddenly. But yeah, the Teddy Ruxpin, the whole movie, I'm like, well, it's going to do something. It felt like the clown from Poltergeist. When you watch that movie, you're like, well, clearly that fucking thing's coming to life.
I think he's going to do something.
And it does. And then like the Teddy Ruxpin, I'm like, did the Teddy Ruxpin people, they're like, you can put it in the movie, but it's not allowed to be scary. And it's like, well, then what's the point?
But the thing is, like, Teddy Ruxpin, do they even sell that anymore?
No.
So, like, what are you protecting your brand for?
We might re-release it. I don't know.
It's gonna have CDs or no, it'll have MP3s. Yeah.
I like when they re-release toys from the 80s. Like they do they re-release like Castle Grayskull. And it's supposed to be the same one from the 80s, but then it says like not for children. And I'm like, but children in the 80s played with it.
I may have both. I may have the one from the 80s and I may have the new one.
It's just funny that they're like not for children. I'm like, but if it's the same thing, why were kids in the 80s allowed to play with it?
Kids in the 80s, we were way ahead of you. We were just on another level.
It's that Seinfeld quote when they're in the antique store. I miss the days when they made a toy that could kill a kid. But yeah, for whatever the reason, this one like fired on all cylinders for me. I was super into it. I kind of like that it took it in a different direction. I'm like, okay, so now the girls' memories are all fake.
Right.
Where is this going to go from here?
Well, they kind of put a pause on this storyline.
Yes, they do, don't they? Well, kind of. Mm-hmm. It's a little weird, but I do like that there's more witches. The witches at the end were kind of creepy because I think he goes into like a room and they're all there. Mm-hmm. That's scary. I do like the mom's like shadow, the grandmother's shadow like moving and then she's not there. There's some really cool stuff at the end. And then his back breaks in half.
Which was kind of cool.
That was pretty awesome. Do you have anything else to say about this one before we move on?
I liked it. They went a little goofy, but it was still... I wasn't out. Yeah. I was still like, all right, I'm enjoying these.
Yes.
But yeah, I was like, are we ever going to get into not prequels?
Well,
lo and
just
behold,
your luck. Paranormal Activity 4.